putting so much money back into the economy and it's not working, it's only adding to the inflationary implications of the market. So again, if you understand what we're saying and you're seeing what's going on, do not be confused in any way, shape, or form by the market actions during the summertime. It always happens almost every single year. And this year seems to be no different. We will see this market start to rally again at the end of July. Meanwhile, if we do get a pullback to $30 or $28, I would buy it very, very heavily because there's no way in the world that the fundamentals have changed for gold and silver and diamonds. It's only gotten stronger.
There's only one company that Harold recommends that you invest with when it comes to precious metals. That is Worldwide Precious Metals. They're out of Vancouver. If you want to invest in precious metals, they're the company that Harold recommends. The telephone number is 1-866-623-2002. The website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, wwpmc.com. The website, you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter on the website or call them, and they'll be happy to arrange for you to receive it free of charge via email every week. We're 6 months into this year, 2011. Let's remember where we came from. As Harold was saying, last summer we were around $17 in silver, and we were pounding the table because quantitative easing 2 was coming. And we saw silver run up all the way to $31 at the end of the year. So we started this year at around $31. We saw a pullback to $28, and from there we went all the way up to $50. And as Harold was saying, we saw a pullback to where we are around today, which is around $35. We were around $32, but here we are today, $35 silver. We're $4 positive on silver from the very beginning of the year. If you look at the lows, 28. Obviously, we're about $7 positive for the year. Obviously, as well, as Harold was mentioning, we believe that silver's going a lot higher, $50, $60. It was interesting, some of the analysis that I saw this week, people were calling for silver to possibly fall to $28, maybe even $25. But they also said that silver would recover and go all the way back up to $60. And it really is important that it's not so much the dollar amount of precious metals you have, it's the ounces. How many ounces do you own? You want to continually be adding to the ounce total that you have. And take the opportunity, as Harold was saying, to use seasonality to your advantage. We've been doing the show for 10 years, and seasonality has not changed. I'm going to actually dig up some of the charts, and we put them in the newsletter in the past. I'll have to go back and dig up the seasonality charts for gold and silver. We're in a time right now where it is an excellent opportunity to get involved in this market, make an investment, and as we were talking about on past shows, if you do, there's a very good return to be made, potentially, as it has been proven year after year. So if you're interested in investing in precious metals, the telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. There is a story this week. We have it in the newsletter. It's quite long. I'll just read a bit of it. Buy gold before the July-October rally. Thackeray's 2011 Investor's Guide notes that the optimal period to own gold bullion is from July 12 to October 9, and then after that, you want to hold it from October until the end of December. And they're obviously Indian wedding season, Diwali, Christmas season. So there are lots of seasonality trends that are going to be coming our way in the weeks and months ahead. As we're seeing in Greece because of the sovereign debt crisis, and Harold mentioned that the chances of them potentially leaving the euro are very high. Greeks are buying precious metals. They're going out and trading their euros for gold. There's an article in our newsletter this week where they were talking about being like the Greeks. Go out and have an allocation of precious metals, and we agree with that. One of the big stories that we have in our newsletter, Jim Grant, and he's famous for his Interest Rate Observer, that is a newsletter. He said, to solve the U.S. debt crisis, the United States needs to go back to the gold standard. He says, how does America, looking up from the bottom of a $14.3 trillion sinkhole, claw its way out of debt? For starters, he says, go back to the gold standard. In an interview with the Fiscal Times, The editor of the Grant's Interest Rate Observer says no other reform would accomplish so much to hasten the return both of growth and fiscal balance. The reserve currency franchise, which America uniquely possesses, is a kind of global credit card on which the outstanding balance never seems to come due and payable. The country needs a debt card, and the gold standard is that debt card. Adding to that, 3 senators in the United States have proposed eliminating the capital gains tax on gold and silver coins. Utah Senator Mike Lee joined with fellow Republicans on Tuesday to introduce legislation that would jettison federal capital gains taxes for gold and silver coins. Now, Lee's measure would treat gold or silver coins the same as regular U.S. currency in transactions, a change that he hopes will encourage a change in the nation's monetary system. Utah was the first state in the United States to make gold and silver coins legal tender for transactions and remove any state capital gains taxes. 12 other states have made or are considering such a move. Lee noted that the U.S. dollar has lost about 98% of its value since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. They say this bill is an important step towards a stable and sound currency whose value is protected from the Fed's printing press. Harold, I think those two stories are very, very important because I think what the Fed won't do or what maybe the federal government won't do, you're starting to see states doing, and that is, and even the senators in the House of Representatives in the United States, they're starting to step up and saying, we need hard assets. We need gold. We need silver. And that's why we're recommending people have an allocation of precious metals, because it seems that the printing press is out of control in the United States, and it is not going to stop anytime soon.
No, it isn't. You know, and again, there's really no easy solution to this, and all it's showing right now is that there's no unity within the United States, and and individual states are starting to panic because each individual state is pretty well bankrupt, and that's a frightening situation when you have to go to work every day and try to figure out how to make things work. You know, they're letting police go and firemen go, and the garbage doesn't get picked up, and social services get cut off, and just like in Greece at this point, you're getting rioting in the streets, and again, when people panic, it's a terrible situation. The other thing is when you hear about Ron Paul, one of his solutions is for the U.S. to go bankrupt. You know, the fact is that if the U.S. went bankrupt on $14 trillion worth of loans, I mean, it would put China also in bankruptcy. So that's not something that can be done. But, you know, they did it. When you look at what happened with General Motors, for example, over the last few years, the government allowed them to go bankrupt, get rid of all of their debt, and restart all over again, you know, and General Motors starting to do well. However, they never talked about the companies that they put out of business, the suppliers and things like that never got paid, that couldn't survive that. So the same thing would happen if the United States went bankrupt on their debt. It would actually shock the whole financial world, and again, the ramifications would be insurmountable. So there's no easy solution to what's going on. My suggestion is for us individually is that we control our own destiny, and we have to do what we think is right. If you're a listener to the radio show and you've been listening for 10 years, you know that the markets that we've recommended have been the right markets. And we do anticipate that because the problems have not disappeared and they've gotten worse, that the price of gold and silver and diamonds has got to go substantially higher. So we're sticking with our game plan. We have not changed it an iota. In actual fact, you know, I'm more excited about the markets now than I did when I first recommended them back 10 years ago. So again, we're continuing with the same recommendations: gold, silver, diamonds. Keep some cash on hand, pay your debts down, and again, don't panic. If you have any questions or any concerns, you know, give me a call or send me an email. I'm here to help you any way I possibly can. Again, all we want is for our Canadian clients and listeners to get through these difficult times and do it financially strong.
As events around the world are changing daily, and especially in the financial world, not just geopolitically, you need to have precious metals in your portfolio, an allocation, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25%, whatever you feel comfortable with, to profit and protect with the wealth you have. And since 2001, precious metals have resumed its role as a store of wealth, protecting you against the decaying purchasing power of paper money. And that is so important, the way they're running the printing presses around the world. And you can actually use inflation to your advantage. You can turn inflation into real wealth by investing in hard assets. In fact, in Canada, we had the report coming out earlier this week that inflation was up dramatically in our country as it is in other countries around the world. So if you do not have an allocation of precious metals, now is the time. There's only one company that Harold recommends that you deal with. They've been in business for over 10 years, a Canadian company out of Western Canada, Worldwide Precious Metals out of Vancouver. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. 1-866-623-2002. The website is wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. If you go to their website, you can see testimonial letters from clients. Also, sign up for our free weekly newsletter. We send out our newsletter free of charge every week via email. If you'd like to receive it, you can call them or sign up for it on their website. But it's imperative, get the newsletter, listen to the radio show, protect and profit the money that you have. We're going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on June 30th, 2011 at 9:08 in the morning Mountain, 11:08 Eastern Time. Radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. And this week in Edmonton, our show running not at 3 o'clock, but from 2:30 to 3:30 as the Eskimos have their first regular season game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So good luck to the Edmonton Eskimos. To invest in precious metals, the telephone number 1-866-623-2002, the website wwpmc.com. It's that time of the show where we talk about investing in diamonds. The telephone number to speak with Harold personally and privately about diamonds, 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022, and the website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week, and this has to be, in my mind, there's been a lot of good diamonds that we've had as featured diamonds, but this one I just think is simply amazing and stunning. As Harold wrote to me earlier in the week, it's safe to say that most people have never seen a diamond this color. This magnificent 1.01 carat pear-cut fancy orange diamond is extremely rare and a sensational investment idea, or would be an incredible jewelry piece as well. We have the picture in the newsletter, also the GIA report. You can go to Harold's website, HESradio.com, go to the featured diamond section, and click on it. You can see it yourself online. But Harold, this diamond is so, the color on it is so vivid. The orange on it is just simply stunning, and I love the pear cut. I love a pear cut diamond. This is, whoever gets this diamond is going to be a very lucky person because it is sensational.
Oh, yeah. Again, very, very seldom does a diamond like this ever become available. And when I got it last week, I was just so thrilled because, again, it's a pure orange diamond. There's no yellow in it. There's no brown in it. There's no nothing in it except pure orange. And the pear shapes are very difficult to cut, so they're a very rare cut. This is over a carat. Again, very seldom does a diamond like that ever become available. But the thing is that colored diamonds in general are just doing so tremendously well. Because when most people look at diamonds, they don't know them as an investment. You know, you buy a diamond for love and for engagement and marriage and things like that. But diamonds have been phenomenal investments over the years. In fact, a diamond, when you're wearing a diamond or holding a diamond in your hand, first of all, you should know you're holding something that's 3.5 billion years old. 3.5 billion. So the fact is that diamonds come from the Earth's crust, about 100 miles below it, and it only comes to the surface because of volcanic eruption. And the thing is that all diamonds are compressed carbon, so they would be all white. However, and the majority of diamonds in the world are white. However, when certain minerals are in the ground, like boron as an example, a diamond will turn blue. and all of a sudden the price changes dramatically. Because if you look at the price of certain diamonds, and most people don't know that much about the colored diamond market, but we've been bringing it to our listeners and our clients for the last 7 years, and it's just done tremendously well because they're phenomenal investments and they're extremely safe. Colored diamonds of this caliber never, ever drop in price. I've been in the investment business for 35 years.